Don't change the video and listen to me right now. Look, I have a message that you should have heard a couple years back, but you know what they say, it's better late than never. If you are listening to me right now, you probably have some ambitions. You feel like you've been made for more than what you're doing right now. People around you tend to not understand you that much, but look, I'm here to tell you, I do understand you. You have one life, so you might as well work hard on the stuff that you believe will have a good impact. Whether it is making money for your family, for yourself, having some specific knowledge to advance humanity, you need something to fall back on. You need to sacrifice yourself for something bigger than you, some cause. Because if not, what's the aim of life? So in this video, I will tell you what I have learned by becoming a professional plane pilot. Then I dropped out and became a business owner. And through all my stories and my adventures, I want to make sure that you have some applicable advice that you can implement for your own life, for your own benefit. If that sounds like a deal, listen to me until the end of this video. Boom, let's go. I have some really good stuff for you right now. So take a sit, take a coffee, a tea, some water, whatever you want, sparkling water even. And I will tell you about the story of part of my life actually today. Lots of lessons. So I'm 25 years old. By the way, I have my computer here and there are some notes to ensure that this is going to be as valuable as possible. So I'm 25, I'm an ex-commercial plane pilot. And I am now running a multi-six-figure business and I have complete location freedom. And so today I want to tell you the real lessons that have shaped me. The ones that came from the cockpit of the plane, number one, and also from almost going broke in the first year of business. I mean, I was broke, to be fair, but almost going out of business, essentially. And by the end of this, I want you to understand why I have left being a plane pilot and what pilot discipline also actually looks like in real life, and why the hardest year of my life gave me a kind of confidence that nothing can ever take away. So first, I really want to go over why I actually wanted to become a plane pilot, because it's kind of the genesis. So when I was 18 years old, I took a gap year because I wasn't really sure, what was the next step. And I went to this island with an ex-girlfriend. It's called Sint Maarten, and it's somewhere in the Caribbean. It's a beautiful island. And I went there to see what kind of opportunities are there. And at the time, I just loved making videos as well, editings. I always loved videos. And we were somewhere one day on one of the beaches in Sint Maarten. And this is a really special beach because this beach is extremely close to the airport. It's extremely close to the runway where the planes are taking off and landing. So you probably have seen some videos about that in the past because people love to be blown up by the planes, basically, in terms of when the pilots are putting the full thrust, the power, and the plane is taking off. People are behind on the beach and they get all the air, from the engines, all the thrust coming out, and people just love it. So it's actually one of the main things to do on that beach, a couple times every day or whatever. There's a plane taking off, landing, and you just want to be as close as possible to feel the power of the engines. So I remember I was there on this beach, and one plane was about to line up with the runway in order to take off. And I was there, and people started to get ready to get blown away, by this plane, by the power of the engines. And right before the plane, it was a big plane, so probably it was going somewhere far away. I think maybe it was American Airlines or something. Right before this plane was lining up with the runway, I could see the pilots, and I think we all said hi to the pilots. And it's from my memory. I believe that the pilots said hi, back to us, and it was so cool to see. And so then the plane actually lined up with the runway and waited a little bit to do the pre-flight, the pre-takeoff checklists and so on, and also get cleared by the tower to be able to take off. And And we were waiting. It was middle of the day, 30 degrees, beautiful beach, the bluest water that you've ever seen. All of us, maybe, I don't know, 30 people, waiting for this plane to take off. We were basically right behind it on this beach, right? And at some point we could hear the engines roar, and we knew that it was the beginning. Slowly but surely, the pilots increased the power and the thrust in order to take off. And at some point, after a couple seconds, it was all out. It was maximum 100% thrust. And at this very, very moment, we could feel the power of those engines, the power of the plane, such a huge mass, this vehicle being able to pull out so much thrust in order to advance and eventually take off. We could feel that. And, obviously we were on the beach, so there was sand around us. And with that much wind and pressure and everything, the sand was going everywhere in people's eyes, on our body. It was sticking to us. It was like almost like needles going all over us, this sand. And this really warm air coming out of those engines. At this very moment, I remember I felt those goosebumps, like extremely intense goosebumps. Almost like it was designed to create a deep desire to become a plane pilot. And after this experience, eventually the plane was further away, and then it took off, and we all watched it take off and go away from us. And there wasn't any thrust anymore, and we didn't feel anything. The thing was done. The event was finished. I thought, okay, you know what? I think I need to become a professional plane pilot now. And so I actually called my parents. I talked to some friends, even my then girlfriend, and I was like, okay, I think it's gonna be the plan. So, well, a couple of weeks later, I actually left everything I had there in this island and went back to Europe. And then I started my pilot journey. So this is the reason why I wanted to become a pilot. Just wanted to share the story with you because it was a really powerful moment, to be honest. And I hope that you kind of had a couple of visions whilst I was explaining the story on how it felt. And so this feeling was what made me commit. I wanted that life at the time, the pilot life. I wanted to be the guy that would handle and be responsible for such power, within that vehicle, the plane, this gorgeous machinery, this gorgeous technology. And so the training was really interesting, and I learned a lot of lessons from the pilot training. It was intense. It was serious. And so I'm going to share a couple lessons. I'm looking at my computer right now because I have some bullet points here. The first lesson that I've learned from becoming a pilot is about professionalism and humility. So I'm someone, before being a pilot, I was kind of reckless. Not in the worst sense of the words, but I really just didn't take everything super seriously. I'm just gonna do my thing in my own way, I'm that kind of guy. I like to do things in my own ways. You don't get to do half of the checklist because you deem it's not necessary as a pilot. You know what I mean? There are some procedures that are in place, that have been in place because there were some incidents and some accidents before. So you don't get to have a word whether this is useful or useless. So people died so that these procedures and checklists exist. So it was actually a big wake-up call for me, because I could hear in the back of my mind some voices, like, hey, maybe you don't need to do all this checklists. Maybe you don't need to follow. What are all those procedures really for? As a pilot, before even going into the plane, you need to check around the plane, how the plane is, check the fuel multiple times. You check all your instruments, check the checklist, everything. And it's quite a process. quite a lot of things to do in the right order, the right sequence, at the right time. It's, yeah, it's really a process. And so my first flight instructor, he used to tell me that I need to be squared. I need to be more squared. You never take any freaking shortcuts, because this can cost your life, but also and mostly the lives of other people with you in the plane, or people that are below somewhere. I mean, you need to be responsible with this, and humble enough to follow them every single time, all the procedures, all the checklists. You need to be humble enough to follow them every single time, even and mostly when you think it doesn't matter, because this is when bad things are happening, right? Those incidents or accidents. This is lesson number 1. There are 2 other lessons here. The lesson number 2 is life or death seriousness. So this is not a game. And if you fuck around as a pilot, you can die and you can kill other people. So being a plane pilot really forces you to grow up fast and accept real responsibility as an individual. And so it was a big learning curve for me. Again, because younger, I was a little bit reckless. And the last lesson is obsessive preparation. So my first flight instructor used to tell me that whenever he needed to learn or retain certain procedures, like emergency procedures, he used to learn them by heart when he was doing random things. Let's say he was cooking and slicing some potatoes, whatever. He used to kind of recall those procedures and almost kind of use his hands as if he was in the cockpit to do all the things, and double check everything. So do the procedure from A to Z. Or maybe he was in the car and he had like a 20-minute drive. Well, amazing, he used to tell me. This is my opportunity now to recall and practice, train my procedures. So he was in the car and driving on the road, and he used to believe that he was, like, imagine he was in the cockpit recording all those procedures. So there are maybe, 15, 20 steps for the procedure to finish, to make it from A to Z. And yeah, just in the car, he does it so that it becomes second nature. And this is a level of obsession that I respect deeply. And I've seen the same thing in almost every highly successful person I've met. They have this level of they have an obsessive, kind of compulsive mindset around it. The reason why it was so important to learn those procedures by heart is because, well, my flight instructor used to tell me, when you are up there flying the plane and you're responsible for safety and you lose your engine, there is something really bad happening up there that is life-threatening, and you have people around you that start screaming, and you need to talk to the radio, and you need to make sure that you do the right procedures, and you need to look at some place to eventually land, some place where it's pretty safe. And all of that is happening, and you are losing your engine and the plane is not behaving properly. He was telling me that when all of that is happening in the middle of this chaos, what will increase your chances of survival for you and the people around you is your professionalism, is you being able to respect the procedures to the T. Fast, clean, right order, professionally. And this really hit the nail for me. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is, I respect that, Whoops. And so, yeah, all of that to say that it is really important to prepare in the eventuality that shit will start to hit the fan, basically. So those are 3 lessons I wanted to share to paint a picture on my experience and how it has also integrated with me within my personality. And I took all of that and brought it in business. And that's part of the reason why today I'm making multi-6 figures a year with the business. So again, look, I'm not I'm not the most successful entrepreneur ever, but what I did is I started from scratch, from level 0. I am right now at level 1, meaning location freedom. I could work like 1 hour a day essentially, and making multi 6 figures with the business. And I'm jacked as well, so I can do whatever I want, wherever I want. I feel good in my body, I feel strong, I feel sharp. And this is something I want to help other people do as well. So whether you have a job or whether you have an agency already, but you just make a couple K a month and you want to scale it, I can help you, right? If you have a job and you don't have a lot of experience in business, I can also help you to find your offer, how to find your first few clients, increase the revenue so that you can then replace your job and go into business full time, which really was the best decision in my life, to go away from being a pilot and actually building my business. I just want to let you know about why I took the decision to walk away from being a pilot. So I finished the training in Poland and I gave myself a few months to start a business because I felt like I was trapped in a box. Being a pilot is amazing. I respect all the pilots out there. It is really good, amazing, respected job as well. But I didn't want to have a boss, and I also wanted to find something I could do professionally that would allow me and would even value me breaking some rules. I love to break some rules. I like to question the rules, the normal things. I like to question those and just do my own thing, use my own sauce basically. So one of my friends, my best friends, my brother, he actually called me towards the end of the training, the last few months of my training, pilot training. He called me and he told me, "Hey, Kilian, I just finished my business school and I want to start my business," because the business school was a scam. It was really, it was bad. So I have this idea. Are you up to go and try? And I told him, "Hey, bet, amazing. Take a plane, come to Poland, come to my student residency, grab a room there, and we're going to start the business together." And I said this, and sure thing, he did it. He was courageous, came to Poland in the cold, the winter, and we got this started. And so it was a TikTok agency. And the first year was brutal. To give you a bit of context on what the offer was, let's say you own an e-commerce store. Let's say you are selling those kinds of notebooks, yeah? I would come to you and tell you, "Hey, I've seen your website, I've seen what you do. Look, I know a brand new and better way for client acquisition, for you to acquire new customers and increase your revenue through TikTok. You're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, you're on Instagram, you are all over those places, marketplaces. You are not on TikTok. This is what the data tells us. I can double your revenue in the next 6 months. Is it worth a call?" Boom. And I would then book some calls with those e-commerce brand owners and pitch them my services, our services with our TikTok agency on how we could help them grow revenue through TikTok. This was the plan. But the problem is, neither me or my friend had a TikTok account. We didn't know anything about TikTok, anything. We didn't have TikTok on our phones. So yeah, it was but we still closed some deals. We barely made any money, to be honest. I think it was like $500 that we made. It wasn't that great. And throughout the first year, we had a couple iterations of the agency and tested some stuff. And it was really, really difficult. And but what was amazing is that I was doing that with my bro at the time. It was our first few steps in business. And it really created this kind of confidence in me and us that nothing can take away from us now. Because even though it was super tough, even though it was terrible, it was painful, because people kept hanging off on us. People used to tell us to get to fuck off basically every day. which is normal when you start a business, and now we are just desensitized. Well, even with this happening, we kept showing up every day with a smile and with an extreme and unbreakable confidence that we're gonna make shit work at some point, right? And doing this alone is one thing, but doing this with a brother in arms is something else. It's that much powerful. And since I was doing this alongside the end of my training, which, by the way, is the most crucial part of the training because it's the end. Everything I've done was leading up to this point because I had all sorts of tests and checks and, basically everything I needed to get done and tested for to get my licenses. Some of my colleagues that were becoming plane pilots as well were kind of looking at me and they were like, Kilian will never pass his stuff. What the hell is he doing? Like, it's, he worked so much, like all of us, and now he's starting a business alongside becoming a pilot and, having all those tests at the end of the training. This is crazy, they thought. And so they actually started going a little bit away from me, okay, this guy's maybe not a great influence. Like, he's maybe not doing something that makes sense here. So let's not spend too much time with this guy. And well, sure thing, I actually finished the pilot training, got my licenses. It all worked out perfectly. And I had to tell my family and everyone that, hey, everyone, I'm not going to go into the airlines right now. I'm not going to find a job. I need to do my business thing. Give me 6 months, I'm going to make 10K a month. Easy. 10K a month, easy, I thought. And well, for the first year, as you understood by now, it didn't quite work, but it was fun. And I just kept going. And what happened afterwards is we actually made a little bit more cash every month, and we reinvested this cash into mentors so we can get better at what we do. And then we made even more cash because of this, and we invested this more cash into basically ads and client acquisition and other mentors and training, and we got better and da-da-da. And then we were basically in this upward spiral flywheel, let's say. And here we are, a couple years later, 4 years later, I believe. I'm 25 years old and made multi-six figures. And it was an amazing run. I will say that, of course, I still have some struggles, with the business, and there are always challenges. But I am respecting myself for the story, because I went through a lot of struggles and I learned so much. It made me grow up so much. I am where I am today, nowhere near where I would like to be. Of course, I want to go like 10x, even a million X, to be honest with you. But, the work is getting done and learning every day, as well. And tomorrow is a new day, and tomorrow I might be thinking, wow, the work that I've done is actually nothing when compared to what I should do to reach the goals. But those are the stages, those are the steps that you need to take every day in order to get better. And that's all right. This is 100% all right. I accept that. So I want to leave you with how the lessons I've learned from becoming a pilot has helped me in business. And I have some notes here. Number 1, discipline. Showing up and doing the reps every single day. Number 2, no shortcuts. Finish what you start every single time. Constant awareness. Okay, exactly like when you are a pilot and you always kind of look and know where you could land in case of an emergency. Be aware of your market. Be aware of what's happening with the business. Be aware with yourself as well. Look at your good habits and your bad habits. And when you start to indulge in those bad habits, it could be about eating. It could be about cheap dopamine, like scrolling on social media, watching YouTube videos for hours, and you aren't really proud of yourself when you do that. Be aware of that so that you can act on it and become better every single day. And well, basically the same mindset that keeps a plane in the air safely is the one that keeps a business alive when nothing is working. All right, you gotta fall back on your procedures. You gotta fall back on those foundations, right? That will keep you up there. And so, yeah, I guess that's about it here. The reason why I'm making this video, to finish on that note, is because I believe that those lessons have shaped me in a really good way. And it can help others, all right? So whether you have a job and you know you've been made for more, whether you have a business and you're struggling and you wanna do more with this, it always helps to have a kind of third perspective, hear some lessons from another fellow business owner. Because, well, you might be in your bed right now, 11 p.m., tomorrow you have a job that you hate, that you are going to, and you don't make a lot of money with this, you have a shit boss, you just know that it's not made for you. And you are listening to me right now in your bed. I have those, red lights, it's a chill vibe here. It might just give you some ideas. Even if I can help one dude or one lady with this, it's already amazing, right? So that's why I'm posting this video. And also, I want to create a community. So if you feel like, if this whole story, if those lessons have brought any value to you, then just know that you can connect with me. Drop a comment, or you can also send a message on Instagram directly. I'll put the Instagram on the description. And let's connect. I want to create a community of like-minded people, because together we can go further. Alone you can go fast, and you can go far away. But no empire has been built on one person alone. And let's make an impact. We only have one life, so we might as well really do the most with this life that we have been gifted with. So it was Kilian. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.